if you are listening to this podcast, then you don't have a visual piece to go by. So you hear me talking, my voice might, not be so monotone. I might kind of go in and out of excitement and things like that. But that gives you some context around what I'm talking about.
Welcome to the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. I'm Chelsea Gardner, and if you're ready to make marketing clear, manageable, and fun with practical steps and effective tools, you are in the right place, my friend. Together, we'll untangle the complexities of marketing your business and transform them into clear, actionable steps. Let's dive in.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. I'm so excited that you're here. Today, I'm going to talk about some quick and easy social media graphic stuff for busy beginners. I know we are all so very busy, and creating graphics for our social media is just not something we want to spend a lot of time on. And so let's talk about how we can create quick and easy social media graphics using Canva. So you guys know one of my absolute favorite tools to use for social media content is absolutely Canva. I use it for just about anything, not just social media content and graphics, but PowerPoint presentations and flyers and QR codes, all the things. I use Canva. So I want to talk a little bit about basically what I think you should be using Canva for and some of the reasons, it's the superior tool in my mind, right? There are other tools out there, but for busy beginners, Canva is such an easy drag and drop system. So visual content, first of all, is the key to really grabbing attention and increasing engagement on social media. So a lot of times, visual content can be video content, a talking head video. If you are listening to this podcast, then you don't have a visual piece to go by. So you hear me talking, my voice might, not be so monotone. I might kind of go in and out of excitement and things like that. But that gives you some context around what I'm talking about. But when you're scrolling on social media, it needs to be visually eye-catching, right? If you're scrolling through something, you want it to be where someone is going to stop their scroll. So we're going to talk about basically why visuals really matter, common design challenges that I come across when I am talking to clients or potential clients, how Canva can really help you save time, save energy, and give you some tips to get you started. So I hope that sounds good. Let's dive into why visuals matter in social media. So we already really touched on it briefly in regards to stopping the scroll, but good visuals can significantly boost your social media engagement. So posts that have images produce a 650% higher engagement than text-only posts. So obviously, if we're talking about Instagram, for example, you can't have a text-only post. You can only have text-only posts on places like LinkedIn or Facebook. But when you are on Instagram or even on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those places, posts with images produce a 650% higher engagement rate than those text-only posts. And visuals are processed, right? I love some of these like stats, right? Visuals are processed 60,000 times faster in the brain than text. So it makes them so much more effective for communication. So when you think about that, wow, that is that's incredible to me, right? Like obviously, when you look at something visually stimulating over just reading text, our brain processes that a lot faster. And so it's way more effective, right? I love that. And so 90% of information is transmitted to the brain visually. And so brands that are consistent with visual content are more likely to be recognized and remembered by their audience. That makes total sense, right? So when I talk about Nike or FedEx or Disney or any other major brand, they are very consistent with their visual content. I bet you can tell me the colors, the style of their font, their logo immediately when their names are mentioned, right? McDonald's, Arches, yellow, red, M. They are very consistent with visual content. Don't you want to be like that when it comes to your brand online, right? People, you want to be recognized online. And so, how do we overcome some of those really common design challenges that we face? We're beginners, first and foremost. We are busy. We don't put, social media first, as we shouldn't. We need to be doing our money making tasks, which could very well be social media, right? But we want to make sure that we are doing what we need to do first and foremost, and we still want to make sure that we're able to do social media. It's a huge piece of marketing these days that needs to be added into your marketing plan. But I get the busyness and I get the beginner status. So, many, many beginners struggle with design because of the lack of skills or confidence, right? You probably did not go to school for design. You probably aren't graphically challenged, or you probably are graphically challenged. You're not looking at a blank canvas in Canva, a white screen, and like images and what you want to look at just pops up and you can create it. It has taken me years. I've been using Canva, y'all, for 10 plus years. I actually just got the badge for over 5,000 graphics created in my Canva account. So it takes some time. I get it. So many, many beginners struggle with that design due to the lack of skills and confidence. Or honestly, you're busy. You have a lot of time constraints, right? So that's a huge challenge for most, is just the time to sit down. If I wanted to sit here and learn to play the guitar, I don't have the time to do that. I don't have the time to learn the strings and learn a song, right? There's time constraints around what is very important compared to maybe what's on the back burner a little bit. And so I remember, God, yeah, I remember when I kind of first started getting into graphics. My background is not in graphic design, okay? My background is master's marketing. I have a master's in marketing. I have an undergrad in marketing, but you're not taught in marketing graphic design work. You're not taught in marketing social media. You might be today, but when I went to school 10 years ago now, we weren't. We were taught the 4 Ps, right? Product, place, price, promotion, I think, are the 4 Ps. That's what we were taught, right? That's what you're taught in the marketing world. And so that hands-on experience is how I built up my knowledge, skills, and confidence when it comes to creating content. But, it can be overwhelming. So I get it, right? I know when I've talked to clients in the past how they talk about feeling very overwhelmed, or it's a lot, right? I work with people every day that, we're working on learning Canva, and we're working on learning graphics and social media, and it's overwhelming. They feel overwhelmed. They get into Canva and it just seems like, wow, there's so many buttons, there's so many things. Like, how do we simplify that? And so Canva truly benefits beginners. It is a graphic design tool that really simplifies the design process. So you guys know that my superpower is simplifying social media, and that's what Canva does. In my mind, like, yes, it is. You can look at Canva and you can get very overwhelmed easily looking at the tools, but breaking it down comparatively to other platforms that are very specific to graphic design, Canva is a very simple tool that is user friendly for beginners. They have pre-made templates that are drag and drop. You can kind of drag things around, change things around very simply. It is truly perfect for the busy beginner, requires no prior design experience, like none of that stuff. And so some of the like key features that I love about Canva, I've already kind of mentioned those customizable templates. the drag and drop interface. So being able to drag images, drag the templates, drag text, all of that stuff really makes it easy to maneuver. It also has a very large library of free images, elements, fonts. You can upload fonts. If you have a brand font that you're trying to stick with, you can upload it if it's not in Canva. You can also go into their library. They have a ton of free images. If you are not on Canva Pro, I do recommend getting into Canva Pro. It does open up an even more broad array of images that you can use for your social media. So for example, if you are in Canva, you're on the free version, just as a little side note here, if you are on the free version and you're using a graphic and it like comes up with the Canva logo plastered all over it, that is not a free image. You will be charged for it if you go to download the graphic. So you need to swap it out. Anything with like a little crown is anything that's in the pro version of Canva. So another key feature, you can easily save your designs, access them from any device. Canva has an app for your phone. It is really convenient. You can do editing on the go. I love it, y'all. It saves time. So some of the time saving tips that I recommend, because again, I know you are busy. I know that time management is something that we just don't have. Not that time management is something we don't have, but the time aspect of it we don't have, right? The time constraints around doing social media. And so some things that I recommend to my beginners is start with pre-made templates, right? It might not be the best option. You might look at some of them and be like, I'm not a huge fan of them. But y'all, something and getting started is better than not doing anything at all. Okay. So as you get, but I mean, if you don't start somewhere, you are never going to get to those 5,000, graphics. You're never going to get to 100 or 5 or 10 to even start getting good at creating this stuff. So start with those pre-made templates. It saves you time, it saves you energy, effort, everything. You can still customize them with your brand colors and font so you keep that consistency, but you don't have to overthink it, right? Don't pick a template, change some of the font, change some of the writing, and just go with it, right? Don't sit there and ponder on it over and over and over again and then never post it. Use Canva's library of free images and elements. Use them. They're there for you. It's how you can help enhance your designs without actually having to create it from scratch, right? I can look at a blank template that's totally white and create a canvas from scratch. But beginners, when I started 10 years ago, I could not, right? I did not even know how to drag and drop anything over. So you want to start with the basics. The basics are the templates. That's why they have them. And to be honest, as a social media marketer, I start with templates a lot. Now, my end product may look nothing like that template from me dragging and dropping and moving and shadowing and all that, but I start with the template. So don't think that there are social media marketers out there that aren't using templates, because we sure are. And so, keeping that consistency both in creating, in design, and then again, keeping the consistency in the design will help build that brand recognition and trust. So if you have brand colors, again, brand fonts, a logo, your face, that Canva makes it super easy to apply all of that brand stuff. I mean, you can do it in your brand kit. You can upload a brand kit if you're on the pro version. And literally, if you have your brand kit uploaded in Canva, it is a simple click the graphic or the template that you want to use. And then when you click your brand kit, you can just click your colors and it will just change all the colors on the template to your brand colors. And you can keep shuffling the colors until you like a color scheme. Like, that's how easy it is, guys. So some effective examples for social media graphics. I think Instagram posts with bold colors, very clear text, right, can drive more engagement. One of the things that I find a lot is people want to put their caption on their graphic. And you shouldn't do that, right? If you think about, you can't see me, but I'm like holding up my phone. If you think about scrolling through on your cell phone, and you are on Instagram and you're on somebody's feed, if I open up, I'm going to open up my Instagram right now, you guys. If I open up my Instagram and I go to someone's feed and I scroll to show their entire feed like over my like phone, right? I can see 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 and a half, 15 tiny little squares. So if there is a ton of writing on that, do you think I'm going to be able to read that? No, I have to like open up the graphic to actually read it. And then even maybe then, like it's still only the size of my phone, right? So if you have an entire graphic full of writing, it's hard to read. So make sure that you have clear text. Oh, and the really, really cursive fonts. Be careful with those. So bold colors, clear text, minimal text, a well-designed like call to action, either in the caption, some people will put it on the graphic, but that's what I find work well, right? Because they grab your attention quickly, they communicate the message clearly. If you are doing video content and you're making like cover photos for the video content, so YouTube videos or reels or anything like that, having a very clear like what I'm watching is helpful. Okay, that's what makes me want to click and watch the video. Okay, so think about that. And then let's talk about some common questions. So kind of shifting gears a little bit. One common question that I get is, how do I choose the right template? Right? Like again, overthinking the template choice. And what I want you to think about is a few things. One, is it visually appealing? Two, is it a template that matches your vibe, right? Everyone's vibe is going to be different. What vibe are you going for in your social media content? Is it a little more like bold? Is it a lot of colors? Is it a little bit more sleek? What does that look like? And does that template match that? Okay. Can you customize it to fit your brand? And just choose it and go with it. And if you post it and in 5 posts from now that you've been consistently posting, you're like, I don't like that template, then guess what? Go to a different template, right? You're posting different templates each time, right? So don't get so hung up on choosing the right template. I want you to choose a template. I want you to play with it and I want you to post it. Okay. Make sure that you are using some of the other tools that Canva has to offer. They have different AI tools in the pro features. They have one of my favorite tools is Canva's magic resize tool. So this is a really easy way for you to adapt your graphics to different sizes. So if you are creating a graphic in an Instagram square post, but you need it for a reel cover, you can use Canva's magic resize tool and it will resize it into the correct sizing for an Instagram reel cover. You may need to adjust the font text a little bit just because it usually will translate over the same size. So you might need to make a few adjustments, but other than that, it resizes that stuff for you. So use some of those tools, get in there and figure out what exactly you really want to kind of play with inside of Canva. I really encourage you to give it a try, start experimenting with it, create your own social graphics. It's truly easier than you think. However, if you are wanting a deeper dive into Canva, really understanding how to do all the things inside of Canva at a beginner level, so really diving into templates, adjusting templates, fonts, colors, how to do some shading, how to do different styles of fonts, how to drag and drop various things into the Canva graphics once you have your templates, how to even create your brand kit, all of those things for very busy beginners. If you are looking for a beginner Canva course, I am opening my doors to my beginner Canva bootcamp August 1st. So if you are listening to this in 2024, I have a Canva bootcamp opening August 1. And so you want to hop in. If you join the waitlist, you will get a discount code. The link for that will be in the show notes. So please make sure to pop in on the waitlist, join the Canva bootcamp. Doors will only be open for 2 weeks before they close, and it will be an 8-week boot camp for beginners using Canva. Again, my superpower is really simplifying social media, and so it will be a very simplified Canva course that you will be able to follow along with me. So I hope that's helpful. Today, we covered some visuals, why they're crucial for engagement, design challenges, how Canva helps, time-saving tips, all of the things. So I appreciate you. I love that you listen to me in your earballs. Really appreciate you listening to the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. Be sure to follow me on any social media platform at the Chelsea Gardner. I would love if you would leave the podcast a review if this was helpful for you. It is how we get other listeners into their earballs. And I always like to leave with a to do, right? I want you to do something. So what I want you to do this week is get yourself inside of Canva. I want you to pick a template and I want you to adjust the template. Create it however you want, make some changes to it. Feel free to download it, screenshot it. If you're following me on social media, again, I'm at the Chelsea Gardner across any platform, but send me a message, send me a DM, send me a picture of the graphic you created. I'm happy to give you some insight into what little tweaks or minor changes I would make on it. But y'all, next time we'll still be diving into some Canva tips. So stay tuned for next week and I will see you guys then. Bye for now.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. Make sure to follow me on any of your favorite social platforms at the Chelsea Gardner. And don't forget to hit subscribe for your weekly dose of marketing magic. Until next time, my friend, remember to keep your marketing simple and effective.